It's a new year, and that means there's a new story for a lot of sports teams on Ohio University's campus.
Absolutely. Field hockey is looking to rebound after a MAC championship tournament run. Soccer is looking to bounce back after a tough season. Volleyball continues to develop into a premier program at Ohio University, and football looks to exercise some of their demons from a 6-6 bowl game miss last year.
We'll talk about that and a lot more on the season premiere of Ohio Sports Zone. Hello and welcome into another year of Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Kosas alongside Scott McDonald. Scott, things are starting up here on campus in Athens, and along with the school year comes the sports year. The volleyball team is on a tear right now, but first, I want to talk a little bit about the field hockey team. They're at 500. They've played a couple of very good opponents this year, and heading into MAC's schedule, it looks like it could be a toss-up, whereas last year they really struggled.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year they struggled coming into MAC play. They did eventually come together. They did make a late MAC tournament championship run, only to eventually lose to Kent State in the championship. But we are off to a decent start with 3-3. We are coming off a big win against Appalachian State 4-0. Junior goalkeeper Lena Trucco did have a shutout, and Adele Salmons did have 2 goals, so she's really coming along in her own.
The Bobcats have had a lot of very close games this year. Out of the 6 that they've played, they've only had 2 games decided by more than 2 goals. You already mentioned the Appalachian State game. They also lost to Liberty 7-1, and Liberty is a ranked opponent. Liberty was ranked 17th overall, and that's the only ranked opponent Ohio University has played. They're 0-1 against those ranked opponents, but they will play Ohio State Sunday, and later on in the season, they're going to play against Rutgers and Northwestern, so they do have a couple of tough tests mixed in with a lot of first MAC opponents and then opponents such as Longwood, which are sub-Division I opponents.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Neil McMillan, the head coach, can kind of get his troops together and have another great MAC tournament run and a MAC regular season, potentially into the NCAA tournament.
Once again, the field hockey team will be playing at 1 against Ohio State on Sunday, but another team that's getting into action starting tomorrow is the Ohio volleyball team. They're 7-3 on the season. They took a ranked Michigan team to 5 sets. They ended up winning a game against the number 10 ranked Kentucky Wildcats, and man, they're going to compete in the Florida Gulf Coast University Invitational. They have looked great in their own invitational this year, which always draws a couple of real tough players, and they also have looked great just in regular play this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it. They're coming off a very emotional tournament win. They had 2 wins against Seton Hall alongside with Utah, beating them both by 3 sets, which is impressive, blanking the other 2 teams. Also, they are going to Florida Gulf Coast, which is going to be a challenge. That is a premier mid-major team. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of respond after losing at Louisville in the Active Ankle Challenge.
And there have been a couple players to step up, and that's the reason why they've been so successful. I always like talking about Abby Gilliland. She is a veteran on this team that averages about 10.3 assists per match. She has been absolutely outstanding this year, but a name that you might not recognize is a sophomore. It's Jamie Kozuriak. She averages 3.28 kills per set. It leads the team, and she is on pace to really replace Kelly Lamberti, a star who has been at Ohio University for the previous 4 years. She graduated after last year. And finally, you cannot talk about the offense without touching on the defense. Karen Bohl leads the team with 1.19 blocks per game. She's been stepping up the defensive effort late on in this season.
Yeah, you mentioned the veteran play has been explicitly impressive for the Ohio volleyball team. They are led by senior libero Meredith Ashe, who was actually just named the MAC East Defensive Player of the Week for the second straight time. Of course, she had a huge role in the Active Fit Challenge when she had 59 digs. And if the Bobcats can continue that upward trend, that tough play, expect to see them in the top 25 as they have received votes the last 2 weeks in the coaches poll. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Scott, not only have they played a lot of good teams tight and they've managed to get on top of a couple of ranked teams, but in addition to that, they've been able to compete in high-profile tournaments for the second and third consecutive year, depending on the tournaments. It's all looking very good for this Ohio University volleyball team right now.
Yep, absolutely, and it's going to be exciting. They did mess up, have a little run-in with the MAC tournament last year, not exactly meeting expectations, but we hope that they can kind of get it together. Deanne Webb, he is a good coach, and I think we're going to see more improvement and hopefully a deep volleyball tournament run.
The Bobcats have a chance for redemption against Western Michigan in just a couple weeks to redeem themselves from that MAC tournament loss. And again, tomorrow they will start the Florida Gulf Coast University Invitational. We're going to head to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to give you all the news about Ohio University's soccer team.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Adele Sam. Hello and welcome back to Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Coast alongside Scott McDonald. We talk a little bit about how the volleyball team was so good earlier on in the show, but right now we're going to talk about a team that's struggling a little bit right now. It's the Ohio soccer team under the coaching of Aaron Rodgers. He's a young coach still trying to grasp the MAC as well as the rest of the NCAA, and that shows up in their 1-5 record right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a very young team led by a very young coach. They did, however, just get their first win against Robert Morris, 3-0. The goals were scored by Alexis Molesky, Megan Nyber, and Holly Harris. They did have a shutout recorded by freshman goalkeeper Taylor Smith, so it's going to be exciting to see how they work out down the road.
Alexis Molesky has looked so good this entire season, and she's a veteran on this Ohio University team that has really shined. She only has 2 goals, but out of her 10 shots, 6 of them have been on goal, which is far over the average of the remainder of the team. She's one of those Bobcats that are going to have to continue to step up in a very big way if Ohio wants to be successful in MAC play, because to be completely honest with you, I believe Ohio can be successful when they're facing lesser opponents. The beginning of their MAC schedule is going to be really rough. You start off with a game against Xavier, they're 4-2-1, and then you're going to see Akron and Buffalo. Buffalo's 4-2 and Akron's 3-2-1. Those are their upcoming 3 games. But after that, the schedule gets intensely easier for them, which is very good for a team that is really looking for veterans to step up and for young people to gain a foothold in college athletics.
Yeah, and they do have Xavier next, but after that, they open up MAC play. Do you think after a rough start in the season that they can rebound and get some momentum going?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of it has to do with veterans such as Alexis Molesky really stepping up. And if you look at this team, Taylor Smith is another goaltender who could really step up. Her and Carly Manso are the two people that you've seen flashes of greatness from. Carly Manso leads the team in corner kicks, which means she's got a lot of chances to try and get some assists on the board. Just easy points, really. It's like in hockey when you're trying to set up someone on the back door off of a pad or off of a blocker. But Taylor Smith only has played in one game, and she has a shutout. You're definitely going to want to see them try and improve her playing time as the year goes on. I realize she is not a veteran, but she is someone who has shown the ability to play at this level.
Yeah, and do you believe that we can have more veterans step up, or is it going to be a young team to kind of develop into the future? Are they rebuilding already, or is it too early to kind of say?
It's interesting. I feel like the ball's just not bouncing in their way, Scott. If you look at the statistics, yes, Ohio has been shut out in 4 of their 6 games played so far. That's not a good number. Yes, they are being outscored 13-5. No, that is not a good number either. But if you look at total shots, the opponents are only out shooting Ohio 85-73. Then if you look at shots on goal, it's even, 37-37. And then out of corners, Ohio is being out corner kicked 34-26. It's a team that can be competitive, particularly late in a game, and that's important once you get down to the stretch. Playing well late in a soccer match, that second 45-minute chunk is what you got to focus on. And Ohio University in the first half has 2 goals compared to 3 in the second half. They have 10 corners compared to 16 in the second half. And here's the big one, 27 shots compared to 46 shots in the second half. That means they have, first, very good conditioning. That means they're being aggressive late. Now the only thing they're missing is getting the ball in the back of that net.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to get lucky. It's better to be lucky than be good sometimes. So those shots will come, their goals will come, and hopefully we can roll off some more victories. Who's going to be the MVP to step up, to shoulder that load in that second half season in MAC play?
I keep saying the name Alexis Molesky. I can't say enough. She is an outstanding player, but I think the person who really is going to have to start putting points on the board that is not doing it right now is Carly Manso. Like I said, she's getting the opportunities. She just has not gotten on the board yet. And last year, she was tied for the team lead for points scored. She has shown the ability to do it in previous seasons. The question is, can she step up to the plate and hit one out of the park this year for Ohio? And I think MAC play is really going to show you what this team is about. Because remember, the way the soccer season is divided, this play doesn't really matter that much compared to the play of the MAC.
Yeah, quick question. How are they going to finish? Is it a top 3 in the MAC, or is it going to be kind of a slow ending kind of play to the game?
I think the way it's going to have to work out for this Ohio University team is that this team is going to have to go for 500 in the MAC. You're not going to be one of the teams that everyone's looking out for. You're not going to be one of those teams that people are going to think are an easy victory. What you are going to do is you're going to be competitive. And I think Ohio University has the shot to finish right in the middle and maybe make a playoff run that can surprise a lot of people.
And we will be right back with more Ohio Sports Zone.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool.
Not cool.
Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
I didn't see you there. Ever wonder what really happens in the world? Ever wonder what the media is keeping from you? Well, look no further than AVW's News Time for all your answers. Ohio University's most reliable source of unreliable news. All news, all the time, none of the facts. All made possible by AVW Productions. You can trust us. We're professionals.
The football team had a very impressive 21-10 victory against Marshall in the Battle of the Bell. John Kostis was there with more.
hard hits and stunning athleticism returned to Peden Stadium when the Marshall Thundering Herd visited the Ohio Bobcats Saturday afternoon for the final installment of the Battle of the Bell until 2019. The Ohio Bobcats were trying to avenge an ugly 44-14 loss at the hands of Rakeem Cato and the Thundering Herd last year.
This win is a lot for this program because last year when they beat us, it kind of put the dagger in the heart in our team last year. And this one right now, it's given a lot of momentum to our team and our program.
Darius Vick started the game for Ohio, but the Bobcats would rumble through 3 quarterbacks after Vick left the game early with an elbow injury to his throwing arm, and J.D. Sprague would be sidelined with an upper body injury after a late hit was charged to Marshall. The game was very much up in the air after Marshall got the ball off an Ohio punt with under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. Michael Songbird would drop back, look wide, throw close, and get picked by the swooping safety Nathan Carpenter, and Ohio would win 21-10 to bring the bell back to Athens.
When I was talking to guys on the sideline, I was like, hey, we scored, AJ scored, had a great run. I was like, I'm in this game on a pick six. I told everyone that. Obviously, I caught the ball. I tried to make a play for our team. Fell down, but then obviously I thought I wasn't down, so I continued. But the celebration, that was a bit excessive. I was unsportsmanlike on my part, but there was a lot of high emotions involved, and I meant no disrespect to their team, and so I apologize for that. But it was a great win for our team, and I just knew after that the deal was done.
Ohio will play Southeastern Louisiana Saturday at 2 at Peden Stadium. For Ohio Sports Zone, I'm John Kosis. Scott and I are now joined by Alex Utano. And Alex, once again, it was a very intense game. The end score shows 21-10, but it was much closer than 21-10. A last-second touchdown from A.J. Ouellette and then an interception from Nathan Carpenter really sealed the deal. Alex, what did you see that really stood out from this Ohio team to earn that Battle of the Bell victory?
Well, the defense did a fantastic job of containing quarterback for Marshall, Michael Birdsong. They held him to 16 of 33 completions, only 106 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So you really got to like the fact that the Bobcats defense were really aggressive with this. They took away all the top receivers. The leading receiver was Hylick Foster with 7 receptions for only 33 yards. And you look on the other side with Sebastian Smith, 5 receptions for 77 yards. You really got to like the fact that the defense has taken this step up. And Marshall was a team with a lot of pressure to win this game because they are actually getting votes to be ranked in the coaches poll according to ESPN. So overall, the Bobcats had a fantastic day and a fantastic game.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Michael Birdsong was a pretty good quarterback coming in. He was coming off a high against Purdue. Do you think some of that helped, some of the emotion from last year's loss, Ohio's loss last year to Marshall, helped in a way?
Well, it was definitely embarrassing to get blown out in Marshall territory in front of all the Marshall fans. I'm sure that it was in the back of most of the players' minds, but it's a new year, it's a new season. You got to hit the refresh button. The Bobcats did just that. J.D. Sprague led the way onto the field for the offense, and the Bobcats just took it from there.
Alex, you have 2 quarterbacks in this Ohio University system. 1, Darius Vick, and 2, J.D. Sprague. Vick is 17 for 23 compared to Sprague's 17 for 29. Vick has 221 pass yards compared to 210 for Sprague. Vick has 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Sprague has 2 touchdowns. Then you have 56 rushing yards for 49. These are 2 people who are incredibly close in the quarterback race. These are 2 people who are also both coming off of injuries. Darius Vick practiced today after having an elbow injury. He had to wear a compression sleeve, but J.D. Sprague did not with an upper body injury. Who do you see leading this team for the remainder of the year?
Well, I would love to see Joey Ducksworth get his shot. However, all signs are pointing to Greg Windhelm to lead the way. Greg Windhelm had 4 appearances, including 1 game against Kentucky last year where he went 10 for 13, 82 yards, 6 rushes for 20 yards, including a 22-yard rushing day on 4 attempts against Eastern Illinois. I mean, he's a fantastic quarterback. He hasn't thrown a touchdown or interception yet. He's very inexperienced, but in terms of experience, he's got more than a guy who's been hurt since his junior year in high school. So with Frank Solich, this is probably the way to go with more experience. He did see a drive at the end of last game. He did not make any pass or rush attempts. So it'll be interesting to see how Windhelm controls the offense against this tough, really rush-friendly southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, and so how do you think Ohio quickly will perform against them coming off that emotional high victory against Marshall?
Well, they have a lot of credential after beating Marshall, and they just have to contain the rush game. The Southeast Louisiana has only had 24 pass attempts and only completed 9 of them, and they have 4 players on their team, including 1 quarterback with over 100 rushing yards. So they really just got to contain the rush game, and they should be fine.
Southeastern Louisiana is the 18th ranked team in the FBS League, the Subdivision Division I Football League in the NCAA. Ohio will face off against them Saturday at 2 p.m. at Peden Stadium. Be sure to watch out for the Bobcats. And when we come back from this quick commercial break, we're going to have an interview for you guys.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Toucan Sam.
What's it take to get some hunky construction equipment up in here, huh?
I hope you're joking.
I think we need to follow the advice of Jesus and get down, girl. Go ahead, get down.
Please state your name and the role you're auditioning for.
Hi, my name is Christopher Walken.
What if it is Loch Ness Monster?
I mean, I got some shopping to do at Whole Foods, but I'll join in.
But to my captain.
I'm right then. I knew I was right.
Hello and welcome back to Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Kosas alongside Michael Harris, a senior captain of the Ohio University hockey team. Michael, the season is getting underway right now. Friday, which is, wow, just under 24 hours away, John Carroll's coming to town for the 4th consecutive season. How does it feel to get your senior year underway?
It's a weird feeling, that's for sure. We all remember, just like it was yesterday, when it was our first home opener against them our freshman year, and it was just, it's crazy to think it's senior year now, and we're ready to rock and roll. That's I could speak for everybody on that one.
And it has really been insane to think just how good Ohio University has been against John Carroll. Ohio University's 5-0-1 in those 3 years of season openers, and you've more than doubled John Carroll since then. Do you feel like it's going to be the same case coming out this year, seeing as you've returned a lot of your big players?
I can't really say what the score is going to be, but we are going to go out there and do what we do best, and that's going to be put the puck in the net. So I can say we are going to score. We are going to score a few goals, and we're going to give them a game. So I just hope they're ready for it, because I know we will be.
You're a senior. You've scored exactly 70 goals in the green and white sweater, and you've been picked as a captain this year. You had Tyler Pillmore as your captain your freshman year. He was the all-time leader in points and assists for Ohio University, and your coach freshman year was Dan Morris, the all-time leader in goals in Ohio University hockey history. What's it like to have those types of influences, along with Mike Kretz, a guy who as a defender scored 40 points a couple of years ago for you, and then J.C. Gulch, another great defensive attitude guy as a captain. What's it like to have those mentors there for you?
Well, those 3 guys are probably up there in the best 3 captains I've ever played for, and Pillmore is definitely the best captain I've ever played for. He was a role model on and off the ice. He was something special. Just everything he did in the weight room, on the ice, off the ice, it was something special, something to look up to, and it's honestly helped me with my game throughout the years, and I can thank him for a lot that's happened with my game here.
And not only do you have a lot of experience with history in the Ohio University program, your freshman year you guys won a CSCHL tournament, but last year you went to the World University Games along with head coach Sean Hogan, who's entering his second year, and a couple of other players. What was it like to play on an international level?
Oh, it was unbelievable. The hockey was different, I can tell you that. It was, they didn't like the North American style of hockey, which was just ground and pound and just hit them until they can't take it anymore. They didn't really like that too much, but it was the highest level of hockey I've ever played, and I'm just so thankful to have had that opportunity, and that's probably will never have that opportunity again, so I can just remember every second of it and cherish it for the rest of my life, which I will.
You were able to come back for playoff season last year at Ohio University, and right from that World University game experience, but you didn't really have time to digest exactly what you learned there. Is there anything new you're bringing to your game from it after having an entire offseason to think about just the heightened level of play?
It's hard to really say. Everything just happens so much faster at that level. It's you can't really explain it unless you're playing at that level, I guess you can really say. Just the speed of the game, the speed of the passes, people coming towards you, hitting you, shots, everything is just elevated so much, and it's going to help me out a lot just to know that I have a couple extra seconds with the puck to pick my head up, look and find the open guy. Just little things like that I'll take away from it, and it's really going to help a lot. And
we talked a little bit about how your head coach Sean Hogan did come from or also go to the World University Games. Last year he was 27-7-6 at the helm of Ohio University. He's coming in for his second season. Do you think you guys have a good chance to build off of that solid foundation he created there? This will be your first year with a head coach in his second year of tenure with the team.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about having a coach for 2 years in a row now. It's the first time, like you said. But yes, he built a great foundation with the team we had last year. We only lost a handful of guys, and our goal now is to have our new guys buy into the systems that he preached to us last year. And it's the same thing this year. It's just playing Bobcats hockey, and it's proven that it works, that there's not many teams who can play with us or even give us a very good game when we're playing Bobcats hockey. So.
Coach Hogan says you have to outwork and outcompete your opponents if you want to win. What does that mean specifically to you?
Outwork, outwill, compete. We hear it every day. That's loose puck in the corner. I'm coming out with it no matter what. Do whatever it takes to get that puck back. You're going to win that battle every single time. Just the game is one-on-one battles up and down the ice, and you win your battles, you're going to win the game.
And one last quick question. Last year you guys lost to Minot State in the ACHA tournament. You're going back to Illinois, where you lost to Minot State in the ACHA tournament your freshman year. Do you have an agenda this year? Is it ACHA title or bust?
Obviously we want to win and win the ACHA title, but Minot does owe a beating, so we do owe them one, and I hope we see them in the future down the road, because we owe them one, not only from last year, but my freshman year as well.
All right, thank you for coming on the show, Michael. Once again, the Ohio Bobcats hockey team will be competing against John Carroll, 7:30 puck drop on Friday. You're not going to want to miss any of this year's Ohio hockey season. For all the cast and crew on Ohio Sports Zone, I'm John Kosas. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 9.